One particularly memorable patient for me was a woman who was out of town and actually had gotten assaulted and had several lacerations to her arm, and showed up randomly in my clinic one day and had a tremendous number of things wrong with her. She had gotten basically everything in her forearm cut from her. There are 3 nerves in the arm, and she cut 2 of the 3 nerves. She had cut in one of the 2 major arteries in the arm, and she just randomly dropped in the clinic. This is the kind of patient you normally would see in the emergency department as an emergent case, and she just showed up in clinic one day. And she was really memorable because not just for the surgery, it took about 8-hour surgery to put her all back together and get everything working as best as could be expected, but it was really, I've seen her now for almost 2 years, so it's been a real journey with her to, it's really memorable. I can picture her face and, learn a lot about her, through a very long treatment protocol. And, it's been unique because most of the things I do, I tend to see people for a pretty short period of time. As surgeons, we kind of see people for, a short period of time. You fix the problem and move on. And with her, I've seen her now for almost 2 years, so it's a unique, kind of unique thing to see that, from unexpected shock in clinic to a long surgery to a very long recovery period. And she'll, I always will remember her. I had one patient who was totally outside of my field of orthopedic hand surgery. It was a lady who had been struggling with hip pain for months and months and had gone around for a long time to different hospitals. And it turned out that she just had a hip fracture that people were looking at her back and were looking at her neck and we're looking at other problems, and I just happened to be lucky to be the person to say, hey, let's look at your hip. And it turned out she had a hip fracture, and she's a very nice lady, and I love them and they love me because now their mom and grandma is walking. And it's not a surgery that it's not part of my regular practice. I do hip fracture surgery when I'm on call, but it was just I remember her to this day, and every day, every time she comes in for a knee injection or something, I show her pictures of my kids, and she shows me pictures of her grandkids, and it's just great. I have patients stop me all the time in the grocery store and Walmart to show me their hand or to see, ask questions, and it's interesting. It's very nice that people know who you are, and it's nice to be in a community that's that tight knit, that they know who you are and know what you do. One memorable story I had from a patient was a guy who used to work in one of the glass factories in Clarksburg here, and I found out from him he's like a total historian of the entire glass industry around Clarksburg, and he can tell you everything about glass making from turn of the century to present. And he's got all these, all these pictures and amazing negatives from all these factory stuff that have been closed down for decades, and just and to see the effect that industry had on him. So I've taken care of him for several like arthritic problems that are probably a direct result of all the very, very physical work he had to do in his job in the glass factories. And he's just a colorful guy with a colorful story about his work in the glass factory, and a neat tie-in to how that affected his health and his life, to this day, even though he's been retired for 20 or 30 years.